As I will show in the upcoming series of programmes, there is no doubt that there is a conspiracy to derail these forensic historians' efforts to uncover the truth. What's the reason why this research is so dangerous and being obfuscated by certain parties?
Religion comes into it, obviously. Unfortunately, we try to dodge it for years, but you can't.
Right.
Christianity arrived in Britain in 35 AD. The crucifixion apparently took place in 33 AD. This is well attested. Nennius records it. He died. He's a great historian in 822. Gildas says it. He died in the 6th century. The Cardinal Baronius was the great Catholic Church historian of the early 16th century, and Cardinal Alford, the real name's Griffiths, they both said it, and it's accepted by the Catholic Church. But they don't say it very often, they don't say it very loudly. But Christianity began in Britain. Holy Family arrived in Western Britain. These are the subject of Poussin paintings that are such a mystery.
Basically, my collaboration began in 1976 when I was very young. Alan's been with our family since I was in infancy, and it's only from 76 the research developed and mushroomed.
King Craddock and his family went to Rome in 51 AD. His sister Claudia married the Aulus, the hugely important Roman, and she was put on trial for being a heretic because she's a Christian. She wouldn't believe in Jupiter and so on. Rufus, who was the son of this guy, he marries Urgine, the daughter of King Craddock. And again, you've got problems with heresies and that. And the house of Rufus became the first Christian church in Rome. He appears in the Bible. They had 4 daughters, all of whom were martyred later. And you have a fairly solid foundation for Christianity, starting in Britain, being taken to Rome.
Having said that, I've become almost, in more recent years, the role of a minder as much as a collaborator.
Well, obviously, your research has proved that there were 2 King Arthurs and that there were a dynasty of 80 Welsh kings.
Yes.
Now
no, British kings.
Sorry, British kings. Yeah.
There weren't any Wales.
Now that also is upsetting possibly to the monarchy, that research.
Yes, it could be.
Just explain why.
Well, Iestyn ap Gwragedd dies, was deposed in 1091. He allegedly had 14 sons and several daughters. The Welsh gentry, then sons of the lesser ones, all, as in England, kept their pedigrees and their genealogies. And I don't think the British public is generally aware of the huge mass of manuscript evidence that's available in this way. So there are many people around today who can, and some of them do, claim their descent from Iestyn. Actually, the last king was a descendant of his. Morgan was killed in 1300 AD.
Which goes back to Arthur II.
And they all go back to Arthur II, who dies in 579.
Right.
Arthur II is son of King Moerig or Maurice. He is a 6th generation direct descendant of Arthur I, who is Arthur who invaded Europe. His father is a son of Magnus Maximus by Magnus's first wife, Cynric, not his second wife. And he is the only son of Crispus Nobilis Flavius Caesar. Well, Crispus is the eldest son of Constantine the Great. He's the son of Helen, big British princess, and the Emperor Constantine Chlorus. Helen is direct descendant of the Holy Family.
Right.
So it starts to wobble about all over the place. Now, obviously, the Queen of England having 2 parents, 4 grandparents, and then 8 has got about a putative 500,000 descendants, ancestors, sorry. So it's quite possible she could trace back into these lines anyway. But obviously, she's not, in the sense of Britishness, she's not the senior person.
So it undermines
it could
who is the actual true monarch.
In the sense of descent from Brutus and the British kings, yes.
Right. That's another reason why it's possibly wanting to be covered up. So you've got the religious angle, you've got the monarchist angle. Political influences and sheer greed are other possible reasons why this research is not popular, which Alan explains later. These new discoveries mean that academia should re-examine some of its accepted theories, but the system of academia is often not flexible.
They are people who have been trained in a system of rote. You follow my leader, and everybody keeps it. It's like an army. An army has a general, some commanding officers, colonels, and all the rest match in step. Well, academia is like that. There's always one or two leading great figures, the big guys, the professor this of Oxford or somewhere, and lesser professors, and the rest of the herd. They, I don't mean that rudely to them, but the behaviour is such that they all have to keep in step.
Yeah.
And the junior person who becomes a member of academic staff, he's a junior lecturer, he's not going to quarrel with the professor, he's going to keep in line.
Yeah.
Because he wants to A, keep his job, and B, get promotion.
Now,
So lecturer, senior lecturer, assistant professor, professor, head of the chair, it's a promotion line. The only way you get there is by keeping in step.
Now, you've published 9 books, Alan,
Yeah.
on this work, many of them about King Arthur.
Yeah.
One of them is about your assertion that of where the Ark of the Covenant, probably the most important archaeological artifact in history, you believe is in a particular hillside in Wales called Ynys y Bwll. You've published that in a book called Discovery of the Ark, and now you've suspected that that was there since when, the sort of mid-80s?
I got a photograph from my colleague there in '82.
Right. Now, but you've not actually published this in a book until what year? The sort of
A couple of years ago,
2005. Right.
So
I'm at a village called Ynys y Bwll in South Wales, and behind me is a hill on top of which is a man-made mound. The hill is, I'm not sure if this is the correct pronunciation, Twin y Glog, and according to Alan Wilson, the Ark of the Covenant is buried inside the man-made part of this hill behind me. So this is another reason potentially why your work is perhaps, or there's been smear campaigns against you, because they want you and Baram out of the picture, possibly because they don't want you to be the ones that are going to find this extremely important artifact. In a later show, Alan will present his evidence as to why the Ark of the Covenant is in this seemingly unlikely place. I can assure you, this show is not to be missed. What I'm going to do now is, Alan has had metal detection done on this hill in the past, and he claims that there is an object which is 4 feet by 2 feet, non-ferrous metal, so many feet below the surface, and he has in the past tried to get this hill dug up. He's approached the Welsh authorities, he's approached the farmers. The farmers have been talked out of having any excavation done. So I'm intrigued to speak to the owners of the land, a farm just a few minutes down the road here. So I'm going to knock on the door and firstly ask them if they've considered, getting this land dug up, because if the Ark of the Covenant is there, you're talking the most important object in archaeological history, if you like, is inside this hill in Wales, if Alan Wilson is correct. So I'm going to go and speak to them. I'm first going to ask them if I can have access to their land, just so that I can film on top of the hill and film the sumps which are along the side of the hill, which allegedly keep the whole chamber dry. And once we've done that, I'm then going to go and ask if he'll give us permission to actually get other people involved and get his land dug up to see if there's anything there. It seems the most damaging attempt to derail Wilson and Blackett's work may have occurred in August 2011, which is one of the reasons why I was compelled to make this series of programmes. Their house is in private grounds and is patrolled 24 hours a day by 2 guard dogs.
the reason we had dogs is the cemetery behind, and for several years the gates were always left open. There's some sets of very tall tombstones around the back, and people had put canvases over them, and one guy actually had a bed and a 3-piece suite in on the grave. His canvas. He was living there. And the drug addicts were there in a big way, cocaine and that sort of thing. And down by there were the lesser sort of drugs, whatever they do. But we had to have dogs because there's a small laneway about 2 feet wide between us and the block of flats they built there, far too close to our house, right? And all the youths and kids of creation were running around in the lanes and banging on windows there. The dogs put an end to all that.
Dogs,
What
but
happened
with-
next is 2008, some new guy moved in the bottom flat down there. It turns out he's a Londoner. Next thing you know, another Londoner moves in, right? Baram. I go to the shop one day, I get to the front gate. I'm in my 70s, let's face it, I got a shopping bag in my hand. And number two, this fella's outside, and he says, I want a word with you. He's only been living here about 6 weeks, right? I said, all right. He said, you're upsetting the ladies in these flats. Huh? You know, I had very good relationships with him before.
Yeah.
I said, oh. He said, yeah. He said, oh, you're coming out, are you? He said, I'll fight. And he's doing this, waving his fists about going to fight me, you know.
Yeah.
I said, oh, get lost. I said, F off, you know. And I went over to the shop, you know. And that was the first sign of trouble.
What actually happened was all was perfectly tranquil and peaceful in the vicarage and the surrounding areas until late 2008. I've discovered that there was a man next door.
Right.
Trouble
so this
and
is
trouble.
so this is a house which overlooks your grounds.
It's right
It's
next door.
a flat which overlooks the grounds of this house.
Yes.
And you and Alan, you suspect that he's been put there deliberately to intimidate or to, you know, cause problems for you.
He has been filled full of disinformation, wound up like a clockwork rat, and sent specifically from London to cause disruption.
Right. You've
2008.
got, yeah, and he is from London. He's not
from London.
From up
He's
here.
got no reason to come here.
The next thing we know, the dogs are starting in the house at 8 or 9. They're starting whining or barking and getting excited. And I said, someone's blowing a whistle or something, because they're up. There's something going on here. And the dogs would want to be out. Well, they are out during the early evening. They put it out in the afternoons. Next thing we know, they're barking like lunatics, you know. We go out the back, nothing there. This went on. And we're sitting in the other room one night, and I could see some sort of a flash of light outside.
The dogs were incited with literally a strobe lamp, instigated by, and that including whistles to excite the dogs, and got Alan Wilson into trouble.
So there were, you think he was deliberately upsetting the dogs to get them to bark so that he could then complain to the council about the noise.
Exactly.
Next night, it's flashing light again. I said, hey, there's something wrong. So we went out, and there's a guy standing in the lane with a strobe lamp, flashing lights.
Right.
And they've got another one. They must have had a whistle or something, dog whistle, exciting the dogs. Are going mad.
Right.
They were driving the dogs, but bananas.
And they were throwing them
Upstairs
out.
flat, they were throwing food down for the dogs. So they then complained about the noise of the dogs.
Right. For the last 2 years, Wilson and Blackett had been keeping a lodger in their home. You were employing a young lad, or a man in his 20s, to be a driver and a gardener, or
Yeah,
have
yeah,
you-
handyman, because I'm getting
Handyman.
old, I'm 79, I thought
Yeah.
we'd get someone to
And
drive. And
you
we
had-
need the garden doing and other things.
This house.
He's been living free in lieu of being a minder and a gardener for over 2.5 years.
Right. So he'd been staying here for 2.5 years.
Yes,
And he's a youngish man.
He's a young man in his early 20s.
Right. In August 2011, just after 3 a.m., Wilson and Blackett were asleep when a sudden violent fire broke out in Baram Blackett's bedroom. There was a fire.
Fire in the house.
You were in bed. It was a Sunday morning.
About 3:15.
Combustion, suddenly exploded, which immediately was followed by a fast and furious inferno. A fast and furious inferno, fire. And I know for sure it is an incendiary device because I've seen an incendiary device in operation. I've heard an incendiary device. And the noise of the incendiary device is what woke Alan Wilson up in the bedroom,
Right.
in the other bedroom.
I woke up, you know, so something must have awakened me. When you wake up, like suddenly something has awakened you, probably a noise. You know? And I was so awake, I got to put the bedside lamp on, got out of bed and I put the light in the room on, the ceiling light. And then I noticed a little wisp of smoke on the bottom of my door. That couldn't have wakened me, but you know, there was a wisp of smoke coming into the door. I opened the door, the landing outside is filling up with smoke, and it's coming seems to be coming from my colleague's bedroom.
All sorts of poisonous toxins, including carbon monoxide, certain monoxides. They give me a long plethora of all the poisons in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I went to his bedroom, doors half open, pushed it open, got in, and I'm like, searching in the dark, and I found him. Dragged him out on the landing, you see. Come on, come on. Because smoke apparently disorientates people. They can get disorientated very quickly, apparently. Anyway, got to the top of the stairs. I ran down the stairs, phone 999.
Alan was excellent. He phoned the fire brigade, he kept us calm, and he phoned the fire brigade and the police. The fire brigade came very quickly, within minutes.
We got a fire in the house. I want a fire brigade. Get address. I gave him the address, you know, Vicarage Court, Benwell Lane, Newcastle, code. Repeat that. I repeated it. We're on our way. Well, we're lucky actually, because straight down the road here, this is a main road outside, but straight down this main road, just over a mile, is the fire station. And at 70 mile an hour, they're going to get you here in under a minute.
Straight along Elswick Road. Yeah.
Straight along, bang, Elswick Road, Adelaide Terrace, and a year, bang.
Yeah.
And so I went back. He's at the top of the stairs. I said, "Come on, get down." I said, took him down. Then I realised I've got to open the front gate, let the fire brigade. I look out, they're there already.
And there was a police helicopter above the house. And I was taken to hospital after, like some jungle animal, I cooked several onions to induce vomiting.
Unbelievable. They must have come 80 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So I go out, and I realise I've got nothing on my feet, and I gravel, outside. You know, it's like walking on nails.
Right.
I get to the gate, and I haven't got the key to unlock it. I said, I haven't got a key. They handed me the bolt shears, so bang, cut the lock off. Two big elephant-like men charged past me. Anybody in there? I said, yeah, he'd be by the stairs. No, I said, one person. So they charged past another person, charged after them with a hose. And the next thing I know, there's a guy got hold of me, and he's literally thrown me into an ambulance.
I did vomit. I vomited outside the ambulance before I actually got to the hospital.
Right, so
Now,
you vomited outside the ambulance.
Within seconds, they had him out, Tony, put him in the other ambulance, and went away. But there were 4 or 5 appliances, 2 police cars, and then a helicopter.
Can you remember going into the hospital?
very vaguely. If I let the raw onions be absorbed into the system, it could do more harm than good. If it induces vomit immediately, then it can do good.
Right.
But it's not just the stomach; it's also the respiratory tract, which I was like the girl in The Exorcist, spewing of black tar almost, black muck. My tongue was all black, my face was black.
So did you communicate with him at all at the hospital?
A little, yeah, I could.
Right.
But then he was clearly going. He was starting to go.
He was starting to go.
You know.
So you can't remember being in the hospital then?
I can remember very, very vaguely, but it's very vague.
Right. So it must be around about that time that you've passed out then.
It must have been about that, around that time, yes.
Right.
And they kept him in, put him in intensive care straight away. They kept me in and let me go the next afternoon. And said, you know, he have to be in intensive care in a bad way. I went, I told his parents, I told his uncle and aunts, I told his sister, I told everybody I could, like, you know, all those who need to know, a few friends. And then I went in the day after myself, and they wouldn't let me in. And I said, look, we've been working together for 30 years. I know him better than anybody on the planet. It's up to you. Like, his parents then said, you've got to let him in. He's the person he'll probably know best on the planet, right, you know? So they said, well, you can go in, but do us a favour, talk to him. Because even though he's in an induced coma, which he's in, he may be able to hear your voice. He said it helps, we think. It's a theory. Like.
How long were you in a coma for?
Nearly 2 weeks.
So you were completely unconscious for 2 weeks?
Totally unconscious, but I had positive abstracts, wheels spinning on in my head. I wouldn't allow any negativity to get me down. My attitude was thrive under pressure. Don't let the bastards succeed.
So I went in for a couple of hours of talking away, you know, telling him everything's okay, it's all going to be all right, which it was.